President Obama says that U.S. troops are going to be out of Iraq by the end of this year. Welcome to Opinion Journal Live. Here to tell us what it means for U.S. and Iraqi security is our Global View columnist, our award-winning columnist, Bret. Thanks for being here. So the decision today by the President, I don't think this was expected, at least I think by most of our readers, certainly.
Well, it had been reported and then I believe at least denied a few days ago by the administration. It doesn't come entirely as a surprise. You know, the administration had already thrown out the number of 3,000 troops, a very low number, as possibly remaining there. We've had an agreement now with the Iraqis for a number of years, negotiated by the Bush administration, on the withdrawal of Iraqi troops by the end of this calendar year. So it doesn't come entirely as a surprise. That doesn't mean it isn't a setback for U.S. interests in the region and indeed for Iraqi interests as well.
Now the Iraqis, it's been reported that basically the Iraqis wouldn't agree to give our troops immunity, freedom from liability from local laws, which we generally demand if we're going to engage our troops anywhere. Now I guess not knowing the background, you might look at that and say this Iraqi government seems confident it can operate on its own without them, but that's not how you read it.
And we certainly wish them luck as they face Kurdish insurgents in their territory, infiltration from Iran, continuing hostility from much of the rest of the Arab world. Look, James, this could have been negotiated. This is not the sort of obstacle that if the administration really wanted a deal, they couldn't have worked their way around. But clearly the administration's political calculation was that the president had made a promise getting out of Iraq now, and he feels he's fulfilling that promise. So his political interest, I think, trumped a strategic interest for the United States to maintain a serious tripwire force in Iraq as a hedge against Iran and other bad players in the region.
And you think that if we had actually wanted more troops to stay there, the Iraqis might have been more eager to do a deal?
Because when we said 3,000 troops, that was actually the worst of both worlds, because it's too small of a force to really do much good to deter some of our enemies, but it's a large enough force that it's vulnerable. They would be spread out on various bases. They would be a
political problem for the Iraqi government.
A political problem for the Iraqis, also a military problem for the United States. So 3,000 was a terrible number. Either the administration was going to push hard for a figure of, say, 10 to 18,000 troops, or it was going to withdraw entirely. I'm afraid they've decided to withdraw entirely.
Now, it does allow the president to say, I fulfilled a campaign pledge, but of course we now have an Iraq without any American troops as of January 1st. I don't know what, are we just kind of hoping for the best here?
The president likes to talk about the tide of war receding, but look, we have invested a lot of money, some say $1 trillion, into Iraq. More than 3,000 American soldiers died in that country to depose a terrible tyrant and hopefully create a pillar of stability in the Middle East. Now the president is risking squandering all of those gains and all of that sacrifice in order to fulfill a pledge that I don't think carries that much weight politically for him anymore.
Well, I would think that for the people that means most to, he might have a lot of those people already voting for him. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be voting for Herm Cain, say. Or
but it could be some interesting politics next year, and especially if there's tragedy in Iraq and things turn down. I suppose he's going to say it was the Bush administration's fault, but I would think this has some risk for him.
I think it does. I think that there was a kind of a new consensus after the success of the surge that we had in fact managed to get a win out of that war, that there was a possibility for a stable relationship with an imperfect but a democratic partner in Iraq that would vindicate the sacrifices that we've made. Now that's been lost on a campaign pledge that passed its sell-by date a long time ago.
Okay, well, Bret, thanks for that update. And